Hello, hello, everyone. Hopefully, I'm live. It says I'm live. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the volunteer Q&A session. This is going to be run today by me, Cedric, the Early Career Director. If people could just message me in the chat to let me know if you can see me, that'd be great. And maybe introduce yourself and let us know where you're joining from. I'll give people a second to message in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and just get started with the presentation today. Ooh, that is not the one. Okay. So welcome everyone once again to the volunteer Q&A session. Today, we wanted to run this Q&A session to give everyone just a glimpse into what it's like to be a volunteer at DVS. I can talk more about my experience a little bit later, but this is a session that is going to be all about transparency and what we're looking for in our volunteers. I'll share the volunteer form if you want to fill it out towards the end of the session. But yeah, so I'm just going to jump in and hopefully people can hear and see me. Okay, so on the agenda today, I'm going to briefly talk about who we are as a data visualization society, what we do, current challenges that we're facing, volunteer expectations and what to avoid if you do decide that you want to volunteer, what's changing and where you can contribute, the benefits of being a volunteer, and we'll also discuss what the process is like. And it's a very, very simple process, but I'll walk you guys through it. And I'll also talk about some upcoming opportunities to watch out for. And finally, I'll open up the floor to a Q&A just for the people who have questions. So hopefully this is going to be really quick. So, all right. So let's get into it. So the Data Visualization Society, I'm sure many of you have probably seen this slide, but it's super important that oh, I'm seeing some people in the chat. Hello, Paul. Yeah, so the Data Visualization Society. So we have our core values that you see in front of us, and our goal is to nurture by building cross-functional tool-agnostic community for sharing ideas, learning, and best practices. We also celebrate through things like doing challenges and doing awards, like we've done the Information is Beautiful Awards in the past. We also advance by sharing resources and making sure we're platforming leaders that will tell you all about how the field is growing. So the Data Visualization Society itself does a lot of things, and this probably isn't even a representation of everything that we do, but just to give you a sense of what's going on and how the Data Visualization Society is operating, we have a huge Slack community that that our members participate in, and then there's a bunch of different channels that you can participate in. We obviously have our publication, The Nightingale. We run monthly events like tea time, co-working session. We also do one-off events like this volunteer Q&A session. We also do other things so if you check out our YouTube channel, that's another great place to see all of the different kinds of videos or content that we've produced over the years. So definitely check that out. We also, let's see, we curate resources, some given to us by our community members, some we've accumulated over the years. We also do discount codes. We have a mentorship program. We have local and affiliate groups, and I'm happy to talk about that during the Q&A session. We also have, a lot of people don't know this, but we do have a couple of workshop content if you are a DVS Plus member. We run our State of the Industry survey, which I will make sure that I plug at the end of this session for anyone who is interested in filling it out. I haven't done mine yet, but that one has been extended to January 30th, I believe. We also do challenges like the Information is Beautiful Awards, our big flagship event, Outlier, and all of the previous Outlier talks you can find on our YouTube channel as well. We also do a really interesting partnership with Infograte, and that's Future Fridays, again, available to DVS Plus members. And we have a jobs board. So these are all of the different kinds of events that we run, and this feeds perfectly into our challenges. So obviously running this many events means that we really are heavily reliant on our volunteers. I'm a volunteer as a board member, and so are the other 10 of us that are volunteers as well. And we cannot run our events without your volunteer support. So thank you everyone for attending. And there's so many ways to contribute, and that's what this session is all about. So I'm here to answer any questions you have and maybe talk about some of the specific programs or content or resources that we have and how you can contribute. So I think something that's really important is to understand what we're looking for from the volunteer perspective. So I'm just going to read out a couple of these just to give you a sense. But we're really looking for volunteers that are open and willing to communicate with us. And that's going to be a recurring theme that I'm going to talk about. And you'll notice a lot of these bullet points are geared towards that. But DVS is a volunteer organization. You're dealing with a lot of volunteers. There's a lot of moving pieces, and it's super important that you're willing to communicate and be respectful. Obviously, we value nurturing, celebrating, and advancing the data visualization community, and that also includes values like diversity, inclusion, and accessibility. So we also really want you to be a volunteer that is consistent, at the very least for the commitment that you're making. So whatever you choose to participate in, we really want to make sure that you are consistent. And I'll talk a little bit about volunteer hours in a little bit, but just for now, we don't really expect that much commitment. It really depends on what you decide to do, but super important for you to, if you realize that you can't do something or you can't continue to commit, definitely let us know. And you're not expected to stay on a project that you're no longer comfortable with, or that isn't serving you, or that you've completed. So, and along with that is a willingness to, again, engage and collaborate, transparency about your bandwidth. We always ask that. Flexibility as needs evolve, shared ownership and accountability. We're really looking for people who will take ownership of certain projects. So absolutely, definitely make sure that you are, taking accountability for whatever project or task that you're doing. And also patience, because we are volunteers. So, people may not respond immediately. And so it's super important that you, make space for people, and you're extremely flexible. Also, don'ts. So obviously the opposite of everything I just said. I won't read too many of these things. Um, the first bullet point is actually really funny because it's overcommitting. Um, but I think a lot of us, do take on a lot of responsibilities. And again, it's totally okay. Just be extremely transparent about what your capacity is and if things change. Long periods without communication. This is unfortunately something that has happened with us, and we want to make sure we're protecting against that in these future sessions. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, and obviously we want you to align with our values. Again, we're all about community and making sure that everybody feels welcomed, and we're really moving the space forward. Um, yeah, so, how do we get involved? So, I think a super important part of the Data Visualization Society is recognizing that we all have strengths and weaknesses. This is something I shared a little bit in the AGM, but our volunteers have a variety of different skills, and there's so many ways that you can contribute. And our new survey form, which I'll share shortly, really highlights that opportunity to share how you think you can contribute to the Data Visualization Society. So probably first and foremost is what I'm collapsing into purple, or sort of the leadership and community aspects of the Data Visualization Society. So event hosting, outreach, Slack moderation, community engagement. This is really a place, or these are really tasks that our community really needs support in. It's probably some of the most time consuming ones. So yeah, so if you have, for example, an author that you want to do an event with, we have a readers club that we do. If you want to interview an expert, there are plenty of opportunities for that, and obviously we have Outlier that's coming up pretty soon. So these are just some of the things that we're looking for. Something that's slightly changed is language support, which is a brand new thing that we're looking for. And I've already seen some people who have filled out the form respond to. So we are a global community, and we want to make sure that our community members are able to engage in the language that they feel most comfortable in. Ongoing discussion for sure, but our Slack community also has some of these local groups as well. We also need support from our designers and our storytellers. So people who are really good at Canva, Adobe, all of those creative tools, and even sessions like this. We'd love to get some folks to help us, create new animations for these live sessions, and also support with social media. So that's sort of for the creatives out here. And there's also a space for people who are more on the analytical side. So definitely, if you are interested in helping us gather insights from our community members, this is the time to fill out our volunteer form. And we have more than enough data from our community surveys, state of the industry survey, and other sort of data about like events and so many other things to like analyze. So if you're super interested in that, that would be a great opportunity for you to support us. There's also, we're also looking for new ideas, taking those insights and helping us generate things like revenue for our community members, so we can hopefully, last a long time. So, and finally, for those of you who have spreadsheets full of resources, this is your time to shine, because we are also looking for people who have or who will curate resources and want to contribute all of the different data visualization bookmarks or things that they've collected over the years. So that's going to be a giant effort over the next, few, I want to say months. and especially because we are going to be soft launching our new website. So great opportunity for people to participate. So the benefits of joining the Data Visualization Society is really all about, I want to say, access to not only certain communities, but also access to some of our really amazing leaders in the field. We collaborate a lot with those leaders, and it's a great opportunity for people who are looking to network, maybe find new opportunities for themselves. So because the Data Visualization Society volunteers work so closely with these experts, it's really a great opportunity for people. I also want to say, like, for people who are interested in growing their portfolios and being visible, we do have quite a lot of followers across all of our different social media platforms. So it's a great way to gain visibility. And one of our goals this year is really to highlight the work that our volunteers have done. And we've begun doing that. And we already do that for certain events like Outlier. And information is beautiful, but we definitely want to center our volunteers and make sure that they are being recognized for all their hard work. There's also tons of opportunities for learning and professional development. As we create these events and resources, there's tons of opportunities to learn. Sometimes you even stumble upon some exclusive resources. So, you'll just have to take my word for it. There's more than enough hidden resources, for our volunteers to, get access to. And then, and then there's sometimes we also do benefits, like discounts for our volunteers. So definitely check that out. So kind of wrapping it up a little bit, and then we'll move on to the Q&A session. All you really have to do is fill out the application form, which looks like this currently. And it's going to be reviewed by our board members, and there will be a follow-up and outreach to you. If you get that far, it's usually not too hard to receive a confidentiality agreement from our executive assistant, Brittany, and then you would go on to onboard and probably be exposed to all of the different channels and opportunities and programs that the Data Visualization Society does. So upcoming opportunities. Obviously, we have a brand new board that hopefully everybody has been able to see, and there'll be more messages and opportunities to get to know our new board members. They're going to be looking for volunteers as they decide on their priorities and try to execute their visions. So it really is a great opportunity for anybody who is interested in volunteering to join. At the same time, we have Outlier, which is coming up soon. So I'm sure Jennifer, who I've just seen has joined, but Jennifer can talk a little bit about that in the Q&A session. So opportunities to join some of our big initiatives like Outlier are coming. And with that being said, I kind of zoomed through this faster than I was expecting, but I'm going to invite Jennifer onto the stage, and we'll begin our Q&A session. So for anyone who has questions about the form or wants to know more about how we do things in the Data Visualization Society and what it's like to be a volunteer, I'm going to open up the floor to questions. I kind of set this event for an hour, but realized that, kind of got through the content pretty quickly. So lots of time to answer your questions. So While we do that, I'm just going to drop some links in the chat for everyone. So let me grab the volunteer Q&A and throw that into the chat. And here's the form. Jennifer, are you muted?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I was.
Okay. Yeah, so Jennifer, I don't know what people think of questions that they want to ask us. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about Outlier and
Yeah, sure.
what you're expecting from volunteers.
Absolutely. So Outlier this year is going to be fully virtual. So most of our support that we'll need is helping us with coordination across. We're going to have a full day, almost like a hackathon of doing project development that will happen pre-conference. That'll be an extra added bonus this year that we're really excited to share out with you all. A lot of that will be, and throughout the whole conference, is speaker coordination, AV coordination, tech support, whether that be on just the AV side or even we're hoping to bring in a couple of different programming language support as people do work through their projects. So if you have skills in the areas of like Python or R or even just more practical things like data storytelling, just conceptualizing framework, UX, UI, things like that. We're hoping to just bring in a lot of different aspects of building out projects and supporting that initiative, as well as throughout the conference. We're going to have a lot of networking opportunities. So just really a lot of that project management experience and the technical experience too, to just make sure people are getting the support they need. We will be doing a global agenda. So like Cedric said, language support is really helpful. We're still working out the kinks as to how we're going to deploy that, but we might be everything is recorded through Outlier, but just having that language support, especially when it comes to the hands-on workshops and things like that, if they are recorded in a certain language. We do have some built-in transcription, but it's just hard when you have a question and nobody's there to help answer it if it's in another language than your own. So that kind of stuff helps, as well as just amplifying the message around getting people to attend Outlier. If it's all written in English, it doesn't quite reach the audiences of our global community. We also do quite a bit of marketing. So we work in Canva, but we also totally use things like Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop to really create cool marketing experiences. Also, video editing is really great because we love to do testimonials, not only with past attendees, current attendees, and our speakers, to just help get the word out for people to get excited about Outlier, what they've done in past Outliers that made them excited to come to future Outliers, and just really build that community spirit.
Yeah, and Jennifer, thank you for mentioning all of these parts of volunteering for Outlier. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the benefits and kind of the really cool things that volunteers got to do at the last Outlier, maybe to give people some perspective about that?
Yes. So one of the biggest benefits is you get a free ticket to Outlier. So that is a couple $100 that you don't have to extend yourself. You also get to meet a ton of amazing people like yourselves that volunteer. So I know people created really, really amazing relationships. They got to meet people who were close to them as well as far away in terms of distance, building skills with in terms of their creative skills, their project management skills, their leadership skills. We have a ton of work to do. If anybody is familiar with event management, it is a lot of moving parts all at once. So there's a lot of committees, or I should say subcommittees with the conferencing committee. So you have the opportunity to rise up and lead really get creative and think about cool opportunities and how we could make that visual as well. We love coming up with cool ideas to bring not only the information we collect, like survey design and things like that, but also activities to life when it comes to how could we make this a data visualization. So things like that are really fun, and you get your name out there. So we always have someone that helps design our outlier branding for the conference, and we love to put your name out there. We also are hoping to just bring in some cool content this year so that you guys can just, it makes it a lot easier to talk to some of the incredible people out in the community of data visualization. You get to email them personally and things like that. But it just makes people a little bit more normal for you all, and it won't seem like as far away when it comes to the conference. You can talk to people, have those conversations, and just build those relationships and networks that you otherwise may not feel as comfortable doing.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. So I'm hoping that there'll be a few questions in the chat. Um, and I think we'll open up the space maybe for another 15 minutes just to let people ask us questions about volunteering. Oh, we have a question. Hooray! Thank you, Paul.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Paul. We will get something built out right now. We're just now getting our conference director onboarded. So we're going to do a little bit of strategy work, and then we'll have everything sort of planned out so it won't be as chaotic as it could be.
Thank you for your question, Paul. Um, are there any other questions, maybe about other volunteer opportunities? I can go back to all of the different things that we do. Maybe that'll help. Start some questions. Let me share that. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we have another question from Omar. So Omar says, what kind of support is there for volunteers throughout the program? So are you talking about Outliers specifically, or is this just general, like all of our programs? Oh, maybe we'll just answer both. Jennifer, do you want to start with supports? Oh, general. Okay. Yeah, I'll start with general, and then we can pass it off to Jennifer to talk about some of the other supports that are there for Outlier. So I hope I answer this correctly, but I think probably the biggest supports that we can provide is just making sure that you're connected to the right people. So if you're ever struggling with anything, there are tons of experts and tons of community members that are here to generally support you. It really depends on what kind of project you decide to do, but there's always somebody with great knowledge. We have some dedicated staff. So they're paid to to keep the ship essentially moving. So yeah, I want to say, like, there's so many things that we can do to support you in general. So maybe if you could let us know more specifically um, what kind of supports you may be looking for, we can speak a little bit more to that. But Jennifer, do you have any ideas about what kind of supports and things are in place for volunteers, maybe for Outlier?
Sure. So for Outlier, there's been different directors in the past that have done different things. For me personally, what we've done is just make sure there's a good system of communication. So you can always take a vacation. You can always, if you need some time to step away because you have prior commitments, maybe work is, taking over a little bit more of your time than usual. Um, it's been a really, really easy process for people to just reach out, let us know, and we move things around. We try to get a huge committee of around 20 plus people so that the work never feels overwhelming and that people can take on what they feel comfortable taking on. And then those people who are maybe a little bit more, they have the initiative to kind of do the things that they want to do and push for those things. We let them, my responsibility as well as the conference director's responsibility is just, does it align to the vision, and can we reasonably accomplish it with the budget that we have? If we all agree, then we let them go for it. And then for those folks who maybe just want to be worker bees and kind of build that vision to life, they do that. So we kind of just let people self group and self form how they want to build out their volunteer role. And if people have great ideas, we aren't here to say no, we're just here to say how. So I think that's how we like to support. And we also want you all to feel fully supported in executing that. And if you need to take the time away, then it's a volunteer role. We're not going to tell you you have to stay and do the work. We're going to make it work with how you can, show up. So
Awesome. Great answer, Jennifer. Um, and should you need to have prior experience to apply? No, you do not. I think in the volunteer form now, we are looking for how you can contribute. So if you're more, like I said, on the data side, then there's data stuff for you to do. If you're more on the design side, there's always design stuff. Like, for example, in the early career side of things, like our event posters could use some revamping, and we always have really cool and interesting ideas for events. So there's tons to do from the both hosting and design side of things. So just let us know what skills, technical skills, and functional skills you feel like you can contribute, and we'll reach out to see if it's a good fit. Let's see, next question. So, what are the usual ways of working with volunteers, and how much interaction they get with DVS staff as they are working on their assignments? So, that's a really good question. And like I said, this varies. So, if you are on a committee like the Early Career Committee and you're doing monthly events, maybe you own um, hosting an event, maybe you just support, you just come in and support that way. We usually communicate through Slack. That is, something we do ask our volunteers to do. Usually the directors and or staff members will either communicate via Slack or email, just generally. We also, other platforms that we might use for project management, we have Notion. So that's usually the ways that we traditionally work. Jennifer, am I forgetting anything about any other ways that we work?
I don't think so. I think there are opportunities where we come in person. Unfortunately, we're doing fully virtual Outlier this year, but we have every intention of doing it again in person next year. And that is one of the opportunities to almost see every board member if they plan to go. In some of our projects, like Information is Beautiful Awards, Outlier programs, you do get to cross cut a lot of the board members because they're, like Cedric said earlier, we work with communications for amplifying the message of a lot of our programs and getting the message out there for just visibility. And if we need people to show up, then there's a lot of back and forth between that. Outlier in particular, we bring in past board members, we work with our advisory board as well in order to just coordinate across a lot of different aspects of our community as well as our staff, because there's just so much that we have to do in terms of speaker management, getting speakers to apply, and Also, we have a whole sponsorship program that we work with our partnership director to get names to help support the conference planning. We work with communication a lot because there is a ton of marketing that goes into the Outlier. And then our board members, we want to make sure that their resources are getting exposed and amplified at the conference as well. So working with them to make sure that they have what they need to get their booths set up or their message, their content and messaging updated and out there. So it's a lot of, I think it's a lot of back and forth. It may be more async depending on what committee you're working with, but there's a lot of meetings where you're, you know, talking face to face online for the most part, just to coordinate what to do and how to do it.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Our next question is from Paul. Follow up to that, in general, is the main role of the volunteers to assist ongoing projects or to assist in the development of new projects, or maybe both? It's definitely both. There's opportunities for whichever one. If you just want to hop on our existing programs and projects, you're welcome to do so. If you have really great ideas, we're all ears. Definitely both. Up next, we have Manuela, who is asking, have you already defined the list of curated resources you would like to make available on the new website, or is it an ongoing process with the possibility to share ideas and suggestions? So on that, we actually had a meeting about this yesterday. So we have a brand new knowledge and education director who are very excited to get the resources that are on our website out to the public. As you know, there's also a data visualization data visualization society resource page somewhere on our website. I can grab the link for everyone, but that's external resources. So we're definitely looking to, one, curate our current resources that we have internally, and then we're also looking to extend and grab as many relevant new resources. So definitely we're open to ideas and people who are excited about gathering those, and in our case, trying to label it so that our community members can find them more easily. There's a lot of repositories out there. We're just, again, we see ourselves as facilitators in the data visualization space. So we're always looking for ideas. So if you have some, it sounds like you might have some, Manuela. So let's see. Mia says, I'm based in the UK, so there's a time difference considerations as well. How would you imagine I fit into the picture of volunteering and working with the rest of the community members? So we do have board members that are in different time zones. I know the Data Visualization Society is currently a little too North American and a little too US biased, but we are definitely working on that. So there is room for you. There's also Slack channels and community groups that exist for local regions as well. So I feel like the London one is pretty active, but might have to check on that one. But in general, there are opportunities, and usually our volunteers are willing to work with you whatever time zone. We try to make it work. We do our best with that. And if we can't work with you ourselves, we find somebody that can work with you in general. So our partnerships director, for example, is from the UK. So, there's definitely people joining from all over. And Jennifer, maybe you can talk a little bit about how you worked with people across different time zones. An Outlier that probably required a lot of coordination.
Sure. Yeah, we had around 25 folks from all over the world for Outlier supporting last year. And we had people in very mismatched time zones. What we did typically was we tried to identify um, time that we needed to meet it together at the same time. We just use a scheduling tool to find who's available, the most available at what times, and whenever people weren't available, another meeting just for them. Typically, it's because some folks are available very early in the morning if you're looking at Eastern or like US based times, or they were available later in the evening. I'm personally more available later in the evening or on the weekends. Um, it doesn't always matter about the time zone. It's more about like, when are you not working? When do you not have other things going on? And so it's always something that comes up, and we just make it work. With those folks who needed to be, maybe their bedtime was when we were having meetings, we would just connect with them in early morning meetings on the weekends, or things like that, because it was more challenging during the week when we were all like at work. So we made it work. We didn't have really any issues because things can get done any time of the day, and we always need support throughout the day, especially when it comes to conferencing. And I think with our new global agenda this year, we'll have even more opportunities because we'll need support throughout the entire day, because we want to make sure there's opportunities um, for everyone, for all time zones. And so it's great to have that perspective so that we aren't thinking specifically US based, like Cedric said, which can happen.
Yeah, awesome. All right, our next question. I knew somebody would ask about this. So will there be an Ivy Awards this year? Um, I think it's too early to tell, but are we working on it? Yes. But I will have to get back to you on that, Anna. So stay tuned for any announcements on that. The Information is Beautiful Awards was a massive labor, of love from all of our volunteers. Oh, am I the one that's cut? Oh, okay. Jennifer, am I still here?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hopefully you've rejoined, Paul. But yeah, the Information is Beautiful Awards, for full transparency, it was a massive endeavor, and cost a lot of money. So we are reevaluating how we can make it more sustainable, and so it can continue being like the amazing program that it's been over the past few years. So stay tuned for any announcements on that, but we are definitely working on it. Let's see. Um, our next question is asking about, can students apply? Yeah. My position, the early career director position, was occupied by someone who was in their senior year of college. So at some point, so we welcome students. We welcome master students. We actually had a someone who is in a master's program supporting our website design. Actually, a couple of them. So you're more than welcome to join, as long as you're willing to contribute. Let's see. And also, you're passionate about data visualization. Oh, we have another one. Okay, the questions are really rolling in. Our next question, does the DVS have a defined list of current projects available? If so, where to find it? Thanks. Also, do each project follow a tight deadline? Um, okay, so let me start by answering the first question. So, is there a single place that we curate all of these projects and let you know exactly what we're doing? Unfortunately, no. That's part of the website redesigned process, and we're going to work on that and trying to be more transparent about that. Um, this list is probably the uh, closest you'll get to grabbing everything. Sometimes in our volunteer forms, we let people know, but I don't think there's a central place where everything exists. But you're more than welcome to visit our website and poke around. Let me throw this in the chat. Um, let's see. Next question, tight deadlines. I think it really depends on the project. So I think definitely closer to when projects are running, like events, you might encounter some tight deadlines, but we try to do our best to, again, ensure that it remains a volunteer position and people aren't overwhelmed, and it becomes too much work. So, yeah, it really depends on the project. Jennifer, maybe you can throw in sort of how the workflow goes for Outlier generally, and you know what might happen closer to the event.
Yeah, so we typically, and this might not be the same for every committee, but we usually have like a working, it's very, very basic. We'll have like a working Google doc that has all of our expected projects inside of it, when it comes to like our experiences that we want to build out when it comes to Outlier. And so we have a subcommittee for experiences, and we have them put it all down. What's it going to take? How much time is it going to take to really build these experiences out? And we obviously have a deadline that we have to meet, and we have to test things out. So we'll go through, and the process is really narrowing it down. Is this too much? Is this enough? Are we meeting to, like, are we tying everything to the theme of the conference? How is this going to work with our conference application? Is this, and so it's a lot of just kind of back and forth to kind of identify what projects are going to work. And then we also have different projects such as our speaker reviews. That is a pretty well defined process at this point, and it's more or less like going back and forth between the applications, reviewing the content, and then once those speakers are confirmed, reaching out to the speakers. And then really the big piece is creating an agenda that flows and makes sense, and that everybody's available at the time they're available, and going through each of their talks and making sure we've got all the content, get all the headshots, get all the, short little snippets of the talks. And it's roughly, like 20 plus talks. So it's quite a lift. So that has its own special, that's its own special project over there. And we also want the speakers to be advertising. So we give them media kits. We want, testimonials from them and things like that. So they're working also with communications, and that's its own, another special project for that. And how do we integrate them into the conference? And I'll say another thing is the logistics, right? If it's in person, there's a little bit more that goes on with the logistics, and, getting, buying items like badges and lanyards, and creating like flair and stuff like that for the conference, and all of those kinds of things. This year, a lot of it will be more around the experiences. How are we going to build those out? Also developing and making sure we've got support and testing what that support looks like, and it's fully virtual. So a lot of it will be just doing practice runs on a lot of the content, and making sure we have the right support to ensure that the conference goes well and people don't feel like they are going through these trainings and things like that, and they're just listening and not actually doing and getting what they want from the content. So it's quite layered. We do break it out into different subcommittees. You are allowed to go cross subcommittees. There is a lot of cross-functional work, but we try to get it organized before you come on so that you aren't just entering into a bunch of chaos, and don't know where to start or where to end.
Awesome. All right, our next question. So Anna keeps asking all of these questions. Can DVS membership be a part of volunteer benefits? I think that is an ongoing conversation. For now, no. I think sometimes you get a discount here and there depending on if you participated in an event or not. I think a couple of people won some discounts, from one of our community surveys. So ongoing conversation, but I think as DVS grows and generates more revenue, it could definitely become a possibility. But yeah, for now, no, unfortunately. Um, let's see. We have another question from Paul. Um, you have a general timeline for volunteer selection. Oh, okay. So this question. So in the form, I believe it says we check quarterly. We are trying to be better about that. Right now, our focus or our recent focus was onboarding our new directors. So there was a lot of people and they're getting accustomed to all the systems and thinking about the projects that they want to pursue. So they will be the people overlooking the applications. As, like I said, as they define more of their, okay, and Jennifer responded in the chat. Um, as they define, as they figure out what their vision will actually be, I think they will be more active in selecting community members. Um, so I'd say we'll try to get back to you at least quarterly. But for now, we're definitely looking at volunteer applications over the next, I want to say a month or two. And Jennifer dropped in the chat late February, March will be when you'll see a call out for Outlier.
Don't let that stop you from there's a form out there. You can certainly apply. We review those as well. So we'll just do
Yeah.
another push when it's time.
Yeah, and there's definitely like volunteers that kind of stick around as well. So if you want to join, help out, get a feel for, how we, communicate and what is there to do. And then, you want to join a committee, it's much easier, I feel, to join our other committees once you're already a part of DVS. Like I was very easily able to slide over and join the Information is Beautiful awards committee, and was able to, because we all communicate within our DVS team Slack. So you'll probably be the first to know if there's an opportunity or something that you can do. So, as Jennifer says, definitely join. So I'm not seeing any more questions, but you can definitely shoot us some questions. Let's see, who did we put in the? I forgot who. Who's the contact person for form? Jennifer, do you know?
For the form itself.
Yeah, did we put memberships?
Oh, I don't know if there is a contact person. Did you?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hello at datavisualization.org. So yeah, our executive assistant monitors that. So yeah, and you can also feel free to email me. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat. Just if in case you want to get I'm pretty active at the current moment. So if you have any questions and you want to just chat, more than happy to chat with people. And Jennifer just dropped hers in the chat as well. It wouldn't be in a DVS event without me dropping a couple more links. So while I have you all here, I might as well drop that we are looking for mentors for our mentorship program. So see that in the chat.
Yay.
And let me see if I can grab it and display it on the screen. So the mentorship program is not a volunteer position, but it's an opportunity to either mentor or be mentored by someone in the community. So it's definitely, they're always looking for mentors. And I know there's an open call. Please check your emails and our newsletters and our website for more information. I don't think the cohort has started yet. Um, as always, please, oh, I lost sight of the chat. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Paul, for being a mentor. I'm also going to drop the Slack channel. I don't know why I didn't create a banner for this. Oh, no, I did. Um, you could just go to our website and go to Slack community. There's a really great pollen tool where you can see, and you can see it displayed on the screen here, where you can see all of the different channels. That will probably be something volunteers are going to be focused on because we have probably too many Slack community channels. So with the new community engagement director that was voted on by our members, that's going to be something that they're going to be working on. So a great opportunity for people who are interested in, building community. And lastly, or maybe not lastly, but let me drop this in. Oh, and Paul says they were a mentee. I also did the mentorship program a couple years back. And hopefully this link works. But the state of the industry survey, you'll probably see some more messages in the early career Slack and some more announcements. But I don't know how far we've gotten. I think we're over 500 last time I checked, but the goal is 1,000. And like I said, they've extended it, I think, to January 30th. But if you can, please let us. Oh, I'm seeing Jennifer drop a link in the chat. Uh, oh, that's the another link to the volunteer app. Yeah, if you are any kind of data viz professional, whether it's early career, mid-career, senior, we definitely encourage you to fill out the state of the industry survey. A lot of really great data comes from that. We always create a state of the industry report, and there's often some challenges that our different committees do. So it's a great opportunity for people to it would definitely help us to if you could fill it out. And Jennifer again dropped the volunteer app. But did I miss any questions? Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
maybe that there is usually a challenge associated with our state of the industry. Once that data is, we've closed it off and they've cleaned it up. I'm pretty sure we'll still be doing a challenge this year to visualize the data. So that's a really fun. This isn't really for being a volunteer, but it's more just an opportunity. And maybe you want to work and support the challenge. I know we have a volunteer running this SOTI, the State of the Industry report right now, but there is another component to that, which is doing a cool data visualization challenge.
yeah. And on that note, we also do other challenges as well. So as you can see here, I'm not sure what programs is going to do this year, but definitely if you're a volunteer, you can definitely shape some of our challenges and some of the things that we put out. And it's actually surprising to see how many community members respond to us. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's session. Thank you everyone for attending. And thank you, Jennifer, for coming on and talking to us about Outlier. I'm going to wrap this up, but as usual, check out our DVS Eventbrite page and just keep your ears out in the Slack, and watch your email for any messages concerning future events or volunteering. That's it for us from the DVS board, and we hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.